And we're back. Had some, excuse me, had Are we good now? I think we should be good now. I'm hoping that we're good now. How is this now? God damn, this is pissing me off. It always seems to happen on propping you up days whenever I'm. How is it now? I keep seeing it go in and out. I'm hoping that it's stable now. If it is not stable, I'm gonna have to end the broadcast, hit up my internet provider, and see what's up because can't be happening on streaming days. I apologize for the in and out. So looks connected, looks secure now. My phone is the one that's kind of bugging as well right now. It says that it's connected without internet, which leads me to believe that it might drop on my laptop. Oh, it's good on my phone now as well. Please, for the love of God, do not spaz on me today. Not today. All right. Appreciate everybody being patient and sticking with your boy and waiting it out. Initially, uh, this morning my work consisted of wrapping up the co-main event article that I normally put up on the Action Network. So make sure you guys go check that out whenever Dan Stupp decides to release it. It'll either be tonight or tomorrow, but it's my thoughts on the Vettori and Whitaker fight. And then after that, did all of my setups in terms of setting up the stream, setting up the propping you up stream, setting up the graphics for propping you up, all that stuff. And then I had to go get some I had to go get a refill on Alfred's food. Shout out to my guy Rexley if he's in the chat here. He's going to be taking care of Alfred for the weekend as I'm going to be going to Montreal on Saturday morning. So shout out to Rexley looking after my little doggy. And then when I got back, I grabbed some lunch and got held up at the dog store trying to cash out. And then it started getting closer and closer to showtime. And I devoured this burrito a lot quicker than I expected I would have. And then I ran into some internet issues, but thankfully they seem to have worked themselves out now. It seems to be a solid 2 to 3 minutes now that I've been able to stream without any interruption from my internet cutting out. So let's hope it stays strong. Let's keep it that way. I'm going to be with you guys until about 2:55 p.m. because me and Cody are going to be jumping on for propping you up over on the All-Star at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I just need to hop on over to that stream, make sure everything's set up and ready to go for that. And then we will be propping you up later today as well. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Again, that's going to be at the top of the hour over on the All-Stars channel. All right. I don't want to rant too much at the beginning like I normally do because I just want to get right into the comment section, considering we're going to have a bit of an abbreviated episode here. Internet connection and propping you up and all that things considered. Let me just wet the whistle real quick and let's get into this thing. I will say this though. I'm very much excited to go to Montreal this week. In Montreal, one of my favorite cities to visit. It's a 5 to 6 hour drive from here in Toronto. Um, it's kind of I don't want to call it a vacation destination, but it is one of those spots where if you want to get out of Toronto, Ottawa and Montreal are usually the places that we can go. Niagara Falls is another spot, but in terms of actual cities that have things to do and places to see, those are usually the two spots, Ottawa and Montreal. So very much looking forward to that. All right, let's see what the chat is saying here. We got my guy Aaron in the chat reminding you guys to drop me a like, because that is always greatly appreciated. Tristan saying, I seen you in the MMA Hours member chat. This guy is everywhere. Elijah Dream is a big supporter of the MMA community, and myself included. Appreciate the love and support he always does. Or gives. Tristan Sherrill was saying, do you agree with Dana in saying that Mateusz Rebecki has the biggest potential? From that card, I think so. At a certain point, he's going to face somebody who's not going to get taken down so easily. And then at that point, we'll have to see what he can compensate with. So I like his potential. He could have top 15 potential. And shout out to Sean Bitter on the chat, the other day, who was saying that he believed that Rebecki has the biggest potential and the highest ceiling and ranked potential. And he was right. Dana was all over him as well. So shout out to Sean Bitter, always providing quality information. But yes, from this week's contender, I do believe that Rebecki probably has the best potential. You've been saying, Lock, all due respect, but is your girl thick? I wouldn't classify her as thick. She ain't no stick. I wouldn't say she's super thick either. Why are you asking? Corey Yupo was asking what's for lunch. I had a burrito, my friend. It was great. Marcus Williams saying you can eat and do the show at the same time. That is my biggest pet peeve on podcasts or shows or anything like that, when people are eating while they're doing their podcast. I hate it. I don't know what it is, but I hate when people do that. So I didn't want to do it myself. Daniel saying mukbang. Yeah, I don't eat no mukbang. Huey Hoopin saying, what a filthy scum of a liar. It's been over 3 minutes. You owe me 15 extra minutes, Lock. You're going to get 2.5 hours of propping you up on the All-Stars. So make sure you hop on over there and you get all of me that you would want. Lajon Dream saying, did you make that? I did not. I went to my fellow burrito boys just around the corner here. Tristan saying, Yanni the Greek went over 5 on Contender Series this week. Apparently he's 2-18 overall for contenders. I think he did better last year, if I'm not mistaken. Zach Johnson saying, fade the Greek. Date Mike saying, Applebee's valet did me dirty, scratched my 08 Sebring and stole the It's Britney bitch sunglasses. I'm paying the extra $1 on cocktails and upgrading to Chili's happy hour. Classier women, they're always. I love it. I love it, Date Mike. Little do most people know, but The Office is one of my favorite shows of all time. Andy G in the chat, appreciate you stopping by. Dennison froze like Elsa. I'm glad that things are back. Andy G saying we feeding the Greek and getting rich. Lajon Dream saying reset the router. I ended up resetting the router and restarting the computer as well. Perfect. Everybody's saying it's good now. Huey Hoopin saying, Lock, you hear that cuck your boy Cole on the cover of 2K? I did not. Are you talking about J. Cole? And don't be calling J. Cole a cuck. I love me some J. Cole. But is he really on the cover? That's crazy. What's going on? Mr. Always Prophet Rex Lee saying, Alfred, yes, he is all yours this weekend. David Dean saying, did you ever meet Dana? The only time I've ever been in close enough proximity with him was when I got to shake his hand one time at UFC 129. During fight week, they were setting up the Rogers Center. Obviously, it was a big event that evening or that week. And during the week, I was just walking around and stuff and just taking in the atmosphere before. I think it was the day before, if I'm not mistaken. And Dana was walking around too, so I literally just got to shake his hand, shake Rogan's hand, but that's about it. Nothing else other than that. No words really exchanged. Just say, "Hey, what's up?" That's about it. Funny story. Also, I met Lorenzo Fertitta in one of those big marketplaces in Boston. I went to Boston for the Conor McGregor and Dennis Seaver fight way back in 2015, and yeah, I saw him and his brother and their chicks walking around the marketplace, and I recognized them almost immediately. And I told my girl, I'm like, I don't want to take a picture with them, but I just want to go up, say thanks and shake their hand and shit. So I did that, and then she got like a picture from like far away of me shaking their hand. I'd have to dig it up and find it, but yeah, that was hilarious. That's what I like to do with fighters and like celebrities nowadays. Like either shake their hand, give them a fist pump, and just say a couple words. I don't want to be the guy to like take time out of the day to be like, hey, do you mind taking a picture with me? I like over the last several years, that's kind of been my stance in terms of meeting celebrities and stuff. Hype MMA in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. MMA's biggest fan saying, what do you think of Magomedov, Whitaker, Gone Parlay? Went big on it. I think they all went, but I am very much going uh away from, playing official parlays essentially. Most of my big money is going to be focused on straight wagers, but I do think all of those can or will hit. Daniel saying, are you visiting Hilwani? I am not. Hilwani is actually in New York, not Montreal, but he is from Montreal. Zach Johnson saying, you excited for college football lock? I am not a football guy whatsoever. Aaron saying, Vittori will bust that parlay. I know my guy Aaron got some good money on Vittori, but I do think that Whitaker gets it done. MPTV saying, I'm trying to visit the six. Whereabouts are you from, my friend? BP saying, when you're stepping into London, England, you got to see what the Mandem got going on over here. Love the consistent content, my friend. Keep up the hard work. Appreciate the love, my friend. I've been to London. I think, actually, not London. I went to Manchester and Leeds because I have family out there, but it's been years now. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably been 20 years since the last time I went to England. I really enjoyed it out there. I think I went in 2015 or 2016 as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's been a long, long time, but I can't wait to go back out there. MPTV saying the six is the city of Wheelchair Jimmy. Wheelchair Jimmy has done very well for himself. I will say that. Also, I know exactly where he lives. So in case anybody ever wants to come down, you can drive through the mansion neighborhood of Toronto and you'll eventually see his house. Problem Kid saying Rebecca should have been the biggest favorite. Winning ADCC in Europe is extremely tough. You know what? I'm very much bummed that the chalk that I ended up taking was the one that I ended up losing, which was Matej Peñas. I wish I rather went with Kinoshita rather than Peñas in terms of straight chalk. But even Rebecca, that guy fucking came through. Problem Kid saying his striking has gradually improved. That would assume to be the weakest part of his game. But if it starts to keep improving, I would love it. Lajon Dream saying you got to check out the new Untold. Yes, I saw you talk about or bring this up, I think, in Kyle Marley's chat, if I'm not mistaken, but I definitely want to check that out. I remember when the whole Tim Donahue, is it Tim Donahue or Tim Donahue? But I remember when all that came out and that whole scandal came out and all that stuff. So it's great that Untold is actually doing a documentary on it. I can't wait to check it out. Asher Quinn saying, feel like I'm losing my mind seeing so many sharps on Vittori. Again, I get the price tag. I completely understand, but it could play out close and people are going to be like, hey, I got the value. I got the value that this fight went to a close decision, but I still think that Whitaker will likely come out on the other side. Zach Johnson is saying, amen and thanks for not eating. Exactly. One of my biggest pet peeves. Lajon Dream was saying when Patty was eating at the post-fight press conference in the mic, that shit drove me nuts. Exactly. Especially for the people that are listening to this only, like audio only, right? I don't want to stuff their ear holes with me chomping on a burrito. MMA's biggest fan saying Vittori is so unimpressive to me, to be honest. Nothing special about his skill set. I think a lot of his success comes from his size and his ability to just outmuscle dudes. He has some decent output as well, but like he's just a big brute. That's really all it is. So Johnson saying, dude, Chili's 2 furs off the chain. You guys are jokes. Asher saying, I like the stylistic matchup for Vittori, and I think he's the best challenge to Rob outside of Izzy Poatan, but Rob is so far clear. I agree. I think he's just, I think he's a step better pretty much in every aspect of MMA. Problem Kid saying both Vittori and Whitaker haven't lost to anyone not named Izzy in years. Exactly. Danny saying Vittori is so average, but would beat Pereira. I don't know if he would 100% beat Pereira, but like he has the durability to withstand all the big shots that Pereira would throw at him, and he has the striking and stuff. But I don't know. I think at a certain point, Pereira would catch him and get him out of there. Mr. Always Profit saying, what sports book you use? Might have to switch from my local, has good lines, but I can't bet alternative totals. Again, one thing I'll always try to say whenever I recommend sports books, it's always different no matter where you are, province, state, country, all that stuff. But personally, the bookies that I normally keep my bankrolls in are DraftKings, FanDuel, CoolBet, Pinnacle, and I just started using PointsBet the other week, thanks to my guy Rexley for hooking me up with a referral code there. But those are the ones, and also BetMGM. Those are the ones I'll shop around at all of those books, and then usually take the best price that I can get my money down on. And yeah, Daniel saying, did Dana kiss you like the security girl? No, he did not. I know what you're talking about as well. I saw that video. Asher saying, I really can't see a path to victory unless I engage in Rob player hating. Therefore, Rob has to be the side. Again, I get the odds. And why people are taking the shot on Vittori. I just can't do it myself. Aaron saying Rob won't be able to finish Vittori via decision or money line. And it could be the other way around for Whitaker as well. Tristan saying, do you see it going well for Hernandez at 145 versus Billy Q? I don't see it going well for him. On further thought, somebody asked me about this yesterday, and I said I lean Billy Q. I still lean Billy Q, right? Hernandez, he's going to have to cut a decent amount of weight to make that 145-pound weight limit, and I think that's going to possibly impact him in terms of having a solid game plan over 15 minutes to beat a guy like Billy Q. Billy, very durable, very hard to deal with, amazing cardio as well. I think that Hernandez will struggle there most likely. Problem Kid saying Magomedov hasn't fought in 2 years. I have concerns in that regard. He has been scheduled for, I think, 2 fights in that amount of time. But yeah, like if he was fighting anybody better than Dustin Stoltzfus, I'd have a little bit of concern, but I think Magomedov starches him regardless. MPTV saying the card of debutants. That is true. How many do we actually have, though? We have Aarons and Gomez, Magomedov, Figlak, Miranda, Quinones, and Perez. Wow, 7. 7 out of the 24 fighters. Interesting. Daniel's saying, what do you think about Yan and Dern? I think Yan should be favored. Man, Dern's takedowns are just so bad, right? I think she has like a 7% takedown efficiency rate or something like that. Like, she is not a good takedown specialist. But if she gets Yan to the ground, she could fuck Yan up. I'll lean Yan. If you give me underdog odds on Yan, I'll probably take a little bit of a poke there. My thoughts on that fight have changed a lot over the last several weeks. Wow, she's plus 170. Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely take a shot on her there. I'll definitely take a shot on her at plus 170. Because I think the last image that people have of Yan Xiaonan is, getting taken down by Carla Esparza and getting just pummeled there. I believe she had the Marina Rodriguez fight in between that fight. But like when you think of her getting taken to the ground, you think of Carla getting her only win via TKO pretty much in the UFC to Yan Xiaonan. So yeah, I think Dern will struggle mightily to get her to the ground, and then I think she'll just get beat up on the feet. BP saying takedown defense of Yan is questionable. That is true, but the takedowns of Dern are super questionable as well. David Dean saying, Lock, I think Stephanie Egger this week is good value at minus 250. Talk me out of it. Is she down to minus 250 now? Because last time I checked, she was like minus 330. Wow. Ton of money coming in on Eileen Perez over the last couple of days. I still can't get to the window to bet her at minus 250, honestly. Like, we really got to see how well Aileen Perez is actually going to perform at this level, because she's taken a big step up, right? Compared to what she was facing on the regional scene to Stephanie Egger, it is a massive step up. I want to see what she brings to the table before I'm willing to trust Stephanie Egger at chalk against a relative unknown. She should win this fight, but I have my concerns. Andy G saying, which big favorite will shit the bed this weekend? Big favorite. I'm leaning Hackprast, but with that said, I don't have a bet on John McDessie. I think it's going to be Hackprast who ends up shitting the bed. Zach Johnson saying when the year started, we had a lot of cards similar to this with a ton of debuts and fallouts. Makes sense with it being being Paris' very first event. I don't mind it. Like even the newcomers that they are bringing in, right? The Christian Quinones, he got his contract on the Contender Series. Gabriel Miranda, he's a fun fighter, so I don't mind his addition to the UFC. Figlak seems to be a decent prospect. Magomedov, he's been signed for a while now, high level talent already. Gomez and Aaron's is the one that I have a question about, but I think they're just from what I think, like they made that matchup before Kali Taha got a replacement and before Aileen Perez got a replacement. So I thought they were thinking that those two fights were not going to be made, so they're just bringing in some, guys local to the scene, kind of, or at least local to Europe, to try to fill out the card. That's why I think they ended up getting the shot. BP saying Dern striking is improving much faster than Jan's grappling wrestling. They're still not on even the same planet, let alone the same universe in terms of the striking, though. Daniel saying wrestling of Dern is questionable. I agree. BP saying and Yan cannot fuck up for a while as a whole last 25 minutes. She could finish her too, though. Like I really think she has finishing power, especially with the skill discrepancy here against Dern. BP saying Dern needs one takedown and it's over, bro. Could happen, but minus 200, you're banking on her to close the distance, with her. Let me pull it up here. Pull it up real quick. With her 9% takedown defense rate, we're going to take her to win this fight. She barely beat Tisha Torres. And I thought Torres was a good spot in that fight, to be honest. But she went 0-5 on takedowns there. I don't know. Eileen Yan. Corey Yupa saying, I met Dern at UFC X July 2nd, and I was at a full chub. Hopefully no one noticed. Hopefully you weren't wearing sweatpants, my friend. Ashley Quinn saying, please don't play Agra at minus 250. Weight class up against someone with no high-level competition. Too many question marks. I'd avoid it with the 10-foot pole. I am of that belief as well. Daniel saying, Yan working with Team Alpha Man won't get a takedown. The wrestling of Carla and Dern is completely different. Bingo. She's been working with Team Alpha Male for a couple camps now, but we have to see if she can truly bring that takedown defense to the frontier. MPTV saying, who is the debutant to watch on UFC Paris? Abus Magomedov. Watch that guy because I think he can make some noise in this middleweight division. Middleweight needs some new contenders, right? Magomedov could be that guy. Dave Mike saying, Big Brute is my nickname after 3 dates. Oh, yeah. God, I love Dave Mike. Ashley Quinn saying, Vittoria Pereira would be such an interesting matchup. Well, if Pereira loses, we might eventually see that matchup. Danny saying, what's the best offshore bookie? Does BetOnline is that considered an offshore bookie? Because I'd say they're probably one of the best. Noah Allen saying Vittoria is a generalist, but has insane chin and cardio. That is true. And he's very strong. Ashley Quinn saying, same with Rob, just minus the chin. Vittoria has pillow hands, though. Exactly. I don't think we have to worry about finishing that. Corey asking debutant to watch his Magomedov. Some say Figlak, but I think Doodle hype. I think Figlak will get the win, but I think Magomedov is a better prospect. And I wouldn't even really call him a prospect, right? Because he's like 31 and he has like 20-something fights already. Whereas Figlak, he's 8-0. So he's still kind of young in his MMA career. Magomedov is already a fleshed out talent, in my opinion. Noah Allen is saying Hernandez is a fraud. Zach Johnson asking why he's a fraud. I'd say he's more inconsistent than anything. I wouldn't fully call him a fraud, but I'd say he's more inconsistent. Problem Kid saying Vittoria Rob over his best betting play. I'd agree on that. Mr. Always Prophet saying I love Dern at minus 170. I could see why. Aaron saying, do you think the home field advantage will play a factor for Gon? As of late, it seems like the hometown guys have been losing, if I recall. The last hometown guy that I can remember off the top of my head is Derek Lewis losing in Houston, or even Dallas, if you want to talk about the last pay-per-view event or 2 pay-per-views ago. I don't think it will be the make or break reason why Gon wins, But for me, I think it could be a reason as to why he might look to go out to get a highlight reel finish of some sort, right? Or a dominant finish. So that's why I'm not so privy on like the gone 4-5 decision or gone via decision or the over 2.5, because he could just be like, you know what, fuck this. Let's make a statement. Take Tai Tuivasa to the ground, smash him on the mat. It could work out that way as well. Tristan saying, do you lean the veteran experience of Jessica Penne over Tabitha Ricci? I do not. I think Jessica Penne sucks, and Tabitha Ricci should absolutely wreck her. MPTV saying Ashley Quinn, I'd watch Pereira versus Vittoria, but I think Pereira's game is better than Izzy's. Pereira is Drake, and Izzy is 40. There you go. Dude packs a punch. He does. I believe you're talking about Hernandez there. Ashley Quinn saying Izzy's style is better suited to MMA than Poatan's, in my opinion. I just can't wait for that fucking fight. I think that's going to be a great fight regardless. MPT saying that's what Izzy says, but I don't think so. Ashley saying, but you're talking to someone with incredible bias. Yes. You are a fellow Oceania guy, if I'm not mistaken. Ash Quinn saying Yan went to a split against Marina Rodriguez at like plus 300. I'll happily take her to beat Dern at plus 170. Yeah, I remember holding that plus 300 ticket or plus 2 something ticket on Yan as well. I thought that was egregious. Daniel saying Poatan power with 4-ounce gloves is undefeated. I like it. And PTV saying I see Asher do the same thing on ideas. Asher Quinn saying GM3 Brutal Silva fight recently made me a lot more comfortable with Izzy, to be honest. Interesting. Is it because of Silva's fight with Poatan? Asher Quinn saying like ridiculously more comfortable. Interesting. Do real study in the chat. What's going on, my brother? If I dink him, I sink him for the win. Who are you dinking? Asher Quinn saying minus 200 for a specialist like Dern is crazy. Derek Lewis is an underdog in most fights. Most of the fights he's won for good reasons. Similar logic for me. I don't know. Jan is just so much better at striking than her. That's my big question mark. Lajon Dream saying, I don't want Gon or Ty to lose. Unfortunately, Ty will lose. Dave Mike saying, they see me rolling. They hating, patrolling. They're trying to catch me riding dirty. Chameleonaire, fun fact, used to be one of my favorite artists back in the day. I used to be a big Chameleonaire fan. Shout out to anybody that used to listen to a Mixtape Messiah, all that stuff. MPTV saying, seems like everyone with the last name Magomedov is a prodigy. Okay, I will look out for him. The kid's good, man. He's very good. You know, he made it to the PFL finals a couple years ago, but got knocked out by Luis Taylor in like 27 seconds. But outside of that, he's pretty much not had any type of hiccup. You know, I think that was more so like a Ricky Simone and Uriah Faber type of situation for him. And he's bounced back pretty well since then. I think he's had 3 or 4 wins since then. And now he's making his UFC debut as well. So I think his durability is just being, you know, undervalued because of that one knockout, but I think he'll be fine moving forward. Problem Kid saying, I like Magomedov. Stoltzfus says Vaughn's 2-year layoff and he already has cardio issues. Scares me. Magomedov has cardio issues? I don't know about that, my friend, unless you're talking about Stoltzfus. Michelle always Prophet saying, same thing. Dern's last fight, everyone was on Torres. Say what you want on the decision. Dern didn't let him take on Stonewall round 1, moving forward, striking, got a grappling exchange without a takedown. That is a good point. You know what? Let me see actually what the MMA decisions had for that fight. I was on Taurus that night and was surprised. I remember being frustrated. I don't know if she was just scared to throw because of the possible Dern takedown that was coming. I gotta watch that fight to remember. Yeah, media scores were like right down the middle with a little edge towards Torres. Fan scoring on close to 400 scorecards, 76% for Torres in round 1, 90% for round 2 in Dern, and then 91% for Torres in round 3. So could be a case of some robbery there. 65% of scorecards were 29-28 Torres, and only 21% were 29-28 Dern. God, that hurts my heart even more because I wish I could cash that Tisha Torres ticket. Asher Quinn saying, man, I just thought about Tom Aspinall, Curse Blaze again. Pain, yes. Aspinall is going to be out for a while, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Always Prophet saying, honestly, I think it gets to the grappling once Dern subs or TKOs her. It could. Lajon Dream saying, Yossi gone dunk. Man's got hoops, especially for his size. He does. Hops. Sorry, not hoops. Hops. Ash Quinn saying, I personally scored that for Torres for the exact same reason. That fight was close to evens, right? The line was way, way closer than the Xiaonan one, and Xiaonan's better than Torres, in my opinion. I think Torres is a better overall fighter than Xiaonan, but Xiaonan's striking is just way better. That's the difference here. It's just, can she keep it upright, which I think she'll be able to. I think she pummels Dern on the feet. So at plus 170, I think Yan is a no-brainer spot. Cole Stein saying, let's go, Lock. Excited to hear what you and Cody got. Goats. Appreciate it. And a good reminder to let you guys know that me and Cody at the top of the hour will be going live on the All-Star for propping you up. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Lajon Dream saying, were you a Roy Nelson fan? I enjoyed him watching him fight and knocking folks out, but that's really about it. Mr. Always Prophet saying Xiaonan's a better striker than Torres. If Dern got that exchange she did on Torres versus Yan, it's over. You can't compare Torres versus Yan striking, but you can't compare those two grappling. Exactly. That's why I'll always say Torres, better overall fighter than Yan, but Yan, much, much better striker. Date Mike saying, hey, Lock, what's your thoughts on Andrew Tate's removal and subsequent KSI Jake Paul call-outs rather than sticking up for another man and free speech? I don't know enough about that topic to really give you guys an educated opinion on it. Let's see. It always sucks when somebody gets banned. You know what I mean? Like what the guy says is outrageous shit, but like that's how he's gotten as big as he has. This whole Andrew Tate thing, right? I don't really believe in the thing of removing somebody from saying what they want to say, unless it is like legitimately and directly hurting people and harming people. You can say outrageous shit. Like if you guys remember those Fit and Fresh guys, they do something similar, right? Like they talk all this big game about being an alpha and all that shit. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the majority of Andrew Tate shit as well. Right? Like I've only ever seen shit that like people have like brought up on podcasts and stuff. Nothing that I've seeked out myself. Lajon Dream saying, shout out to Chameleonaire. I love it. Aaron saying, I saw Woods' interview this morning. The main takeaway was he's not ruling out fighting at 135. There's a bet on him safe against rising star Jourdain. It wasn't that long ago that Nathaniel Wood was a rising star as well. I already have a bet on Nathaniel Wood here. I think he is stylistically and skills wise, I think he's much better than Jourdain. Jourdain is a great fighter, and that might be the difference maker here. But I think Wood could outclass him, honestly. The Rio study saying that's what Ty said. That's enough for me. There you go. Eshquin saying Ty's the GO, brother. That Hawani interview ruled. I haven't watched it myself. Rexy saying, is Loma a lock over Belvita and Porter over Barnett? Yes, and I think Asher Quinn just corrected you, saying that it's Collier versus Barnett and Porter versus Hamdi. So I'll just to quickly talk about Loma and Belbita. Yeah, I do really like Loma. I got to see what her odds are, but I think she definitely wins that fight. Much better striker than Belbita, and I think she could take it to the ground if she wants to, and I think she could rough up Belbita on the mat as well. So, yeah, very much looking forward to that fight. Hopefully Loma is at a good enough betting range for that. Problem Kid saying Cardinal Official is dope and underrated too. Yes, shout out to the T-Dots Cardinal Official. That's a way back as well there from my guy Problem Kid. Corey Yupo saying Ty claiming he would KO John Jones tells me shoulder lock. There you go. Yeah. Don't be talking that shit, Ty. And in terms of Collier versus Barnett, I'm taking Collier in that fight. No ifs, ands, or buts. And then Porter versus Hamdi. I think Porter is the guy people were hoping Dontel Mays would be. So yes, Parker Porter will likely be the play there. Hopefully we get a good enough line on Porter. Problem Kid saying in the Sabadou fight, he gassed pretty hard. Did he? I thought he won that fight pretty handily. I don't know why I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't recall him gassing. Probably got to watch that fight back. You know what? Let me pull up something real quick. You know what? Yeah, you are right. But I will cut Magomedov a little bit of slack that night. The guy fought a fight prior to that as well. He pretty much won 5 full rounds that night. Whereas Sabadu, I believe he knocked out his opponent before. No, that one went to a draw as well. Interesting. But so going 5 rounds in one night when you're not training for that essentially could be a red flag. By the way, Stoltzfus's cardio is not the greatest either, right? Giving up submissions to, giving up the submission to Mearshart late in the fight. Mearshart always fucking does that, but giving up a loss to Adolfo Vieira in late in the fight is not a good look either. Corey is saying Wood clearly said 45 is official weight from here on out, unless a big money fight came up at 135. Interesting. Long Dream is saying Lil Wayne said outside of Drake, that's his favorite Canadian artist too. How could it not be? Dude's a pioneer. Problem Kid saying people forget how fast Jordan snatched Gilly on Lando, and Lando probably a better wrestler than Wood. I'd say Wood might be better implementing it in MMA atmosphere because Lando hasn't really looked for takedowns much, right? And I think Wood will be smart enough to avoid that. Let's be honest. Corey is saying would never call Jordan a rising star, maybe a fan favorite, but no star. Fan favorite. I like that. Problem Kid saying Wayne is one of my idols for you. I love Wayne too. Like No Ceilings Wayne was like the best Wayne. Not so much nowadays, but back then. Asher Quinn saying I had a 3-leg misogyny parlay on that card. Torres by decision and 2 of the other women's fighters by decision. Can't remember who. Torres by decision was the last leg. I was mega upset at that time. Damn it. Daniel saying Wood better than Venata. I'd agree. Problem Kid saying Lando has wrestled way longer his whole life. That is true, but we just don't see him implemented in the grapple or in the cage as much. All right, we're coming down to the last couple minutes here. I'm just going to quickly get through these last couple questions. Then I'll wrap this up so that I can go stretch and get ready for the 2.5 hours that I'll likely be going with Cody for propping you up. Mr. Always Prophet saying thoughts on over 2.5 and Wood Jourdain. I think it goes over. Both are durable aside from subs. Like Jourdain, but I think I like the over more. The only finish I likely see happening is Wood via submission. That's about it. Outside of that, I think it's going to go to a decision. It'll come down to who has who does the better work, more control, more damage, all that stuff. I do think it goes over, but there's a slight chance that Wood could pull it off. Asher Quinn saying Andrew Tate deserves to get banned. Grifter promoting toxic ideology to 15-year-olds. He's said a bunch of pro-rape, sexual predator line stuff. There's a reason he lives in Romania. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I will say this, though. There is somebody that told me that there's a friend of his who's a teacher, and there's these kids just reciting like Andrew Tate things. And I'm not sure if that's something that should be put out there. Daniel's saying Bruno Silva versus Derive confirmed. I lean Derive by a lot. Honestly, Derive has been very underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming. I'd personally probably lean Bruno Silva there. Derive's skill set not really coming to what I thought it would be. But Bruno Silva's so easy to take down as well. I'd be interested to see what the odds are there. Ash Quinn saying Collier shouldn't be minus 300 against anybody. Is that what he is here against Barnett? Wow, minus 345. Holy shit. I fully expected the lad to be closer than that. I'll likely not play that, but I still think he wins that fight. Mark Swims saying, if you were managing Connor, who would you advise him to fight next? I'd say Masvidal. That would be the biggest money fight. Masvidal or Diaz, if they can get that Diaz fight together. But there we go. Sal saying, enjoy Montreal. Amazing place. Isn't Ariel from there? Yes, he is. I've been to Montreal plenty of times, though. I love it out there. Danny saying Shamil out versus Jelton. Contender Series, Anton Turkaji replaced him. Is that true? I don't even think that Anton got signed. Interesting that he's coming in on short notice here. J-Bike saying, I like that answer lock situation is troubling, but no one is planning to put their feet down for those signs because they'll be next. First it was Trump, then it was Tate. Next year it's going to be a whole lot more. at a certain point, it's like they keep saying it's going to come down to, the people that are canceling these people are eventually going to get canceled themselves. I'm not going to bother getting into too much of the this craziness. Jeez Louise. Marcus asking who are your biggest disappointments for a male and female fighter so far? Biggest disappointments. Well, Cyril Gahn, drop of the bag in that title fight early this year was not a good look. And females, Valentina Shevchenko, not really living up to her name. She just squeaks out, went out over Taila Santos. She needs to look more dominant, in my opinion. But I'm trying to think of other ones, but not really. I guess Rose as well, the way that she lost her belt, not a good look. I don't know. Last thing I'll say about the Andrew Tate thing, it sucks that somebody's getting silenced, but if he is promoting fucked up shit and it's getting into the wrong hands of the wrong people, I think that's bad. I think that's wrong. But yeah, problem kid saying let's leave politics alone. I won't really even call it politics either. I don't want to bring in the right or the left side or anything like that. If he's saying fucked up shit and it's actually harming people, then that's where I have a problem. Sanson saying, damn, Mr. Early Lock Talk, respect for getting in. RIP, Anton, indeed. I didn't realize Shamil actually pulled out, but unfortunate. Travis Duarte saying, just got done dove hunting just in time to catch some of the show. Let's go. Well, make sure you hop on over to the Propping You Up show that I'm about to be starting at the top of the hour here with Cody on the All-Star, so you can get all your props for UFC this weekend. Nathan asking what's good. How you lining Anderson versus Paul? I got Anderson minus 500. If he was younger, that shit would be minus 1,000. I agree. If they give us, I think I saw a line on Jake Paul and Anderson. Let me see if I can pull it up here on Best Fight Odds. Minus 150 Anderson Silva, plus 120 Jake Paul. Load up or back up the Brinks truck on that minus 150. All right. I'm going to hop the fuck on out of here. Again, we're going over to the All-Star now to drop Propping You Up with me and Cody. So make sure you guys come on through for that. Appreciate everybody checking out the stream. Appreciate everybody checking out the early version of this stream as well. Yeah. Let's keep this on a lighter note than all these other crazy things out there. All right. Yeah. Hop on over to the All-Star. Let's enjoy ourselves over there talking props for UFC Paris. Appreciate everybody checking out the early episode here. No show I'll be doing the Ultimate Wayne show tomorrow. I still got to line up my guests for that. Just waiting for a confirmation. That should probably go down around 3 or 4 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. And then, yes, Saturday, no fight day live chat because I'll be on my way to Montreal. All right. Love you guys. See you guys on over at the All-Star for Propping You Up.